You're listening to a segment of the Inside Rock podcast episode, Rock Hurts, on IWW Radio, Niagara Falls. Go to jabberguys.com to hear the full episode, as well as other Inside Rock episodes with Oat,
Queeks,
and Cha,
the Jabberguys. Welcome back to Inside Rock. On this episode, Rock Hurts, we're going to be talking about some concert mishaps and bad behavior by some of your favorite artists. Well, I've been to a lot of concerts over my lifetime, and I've never seen some of the wacky shit that we're about to talk about on this show.
Well, and doing some of the research, I looked at some of these stories and news articles of it. Did that really happen?
I mean, it's hard to believe.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But it's consistent across the entire rock world, with all these bands behaving badly, not only on stage, but in the hotels and in public, and just some of the things that they did is like really hard to believe.
If any one of us did some of these things, we'd be in jail. But only, guys, like rock and roll, it's okay.
Well, how about some of the fans? I mean, some of the stories include like the behavior by the fans. I mean, which I guess you should expect that, but...
Well, I mean, a lot of these fans are drunk and drugged up before they even get to the concert, and then they get there, and their behavior is off the charts.
Are we talking about the fans or the bands now? Because
both.
It sounds like both.
Both, yeah, both. So you get a huge group of people who are high and don't know what they're doing.
It's all part of the experience.
It's all part of the experience. So I love that.
Hey, we're talking about bad behavior by fans and by performers, but fans have caused a lot of shit too. I mean, one of the first ones we're going to talk about is David Bowie's lollipop in the eye incident in Norway in 2004.
Yeah.
What's the matter with that?
No.
My first question was, how do you take a lollipop in the eye? How does it get lodged in your eye?
Well, it was the stick part.
Yeah, well, I saw the picture. You showed it to me, and I thought it was Photoshopped. I don't think it was.
No, I don't think so either. It was like the stick part. Now, it did lodge between his eyeball and the lid, thank God, because he almost put his eye out.
And that was his bad eye, too.
His bad eye, yeah. And he suffered from something called anisocoria.
Anisocoria?
Anisocoria, which means the pupil in one eye is bigger than the other, but it was caused from a punch in the head from one of his friends when they were fighting over a girl they both liked.
Yeah, back in grade school.
Yeah, but he's had it for almost his whole life, but he's got one bad eye and this lollipop thrown by a fan.
Well, at least it went in the bad eye.
That's what he said.
I'd be pissed if it was in the good eye.
That's what he said. He's on stage, and he said, well, I've got one bad eye, so at least you hit me in the bad one.
You know what? Bowie continued to perform.
Yeah, and he said, you know what? As a punishment to you people for doing this to me, I'm going to play extra long tonight.
He played for 2 hours and 20 minutes. He pulled a Bruce Springsteen kind of.
Yeah, he just kept on going.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Springsteen's known for his long concerts, but...
But what possesses somebody to throw a lollipop at the performer and hit him in the head, let alone the eye?
Well, maybe he was trying to do a good thing. Here's a lollipop, and he was just aiming for his mouth.
He missed.
Yeah, he should have had the big screen up, like in the Blues Brothers. Remember when they're playing Rawhide in the Blues Brothers at the Country and Western bar?
Bob's Country Bar Bunker.
That's right. And they had the screen up, and they're throwing beer bottles at him.
That's a great scene.
And maybe Bowie should have had that.
Yeah, well, maybe he did at future concerts. But yeah, he was lucky. He didn't have any damage to his eye, and he continued to play for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
So that happened in June of 2004.
In Norway.
Yeah, Norwegian Wood Festival in Oslo, Norway.
Yeah. So, hey, so speaking of fans behaving badly, another very famous situation happened at the Altamont Speedway Free Festival in 1969 with the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, that was a very, very popular event at the time.
Yeah, and so you'd have to set this up, though, why this all happened, is that the Stones, who did they hire for bodyguard and crowd protection and crowd control?
Well, on the advice of the Grateful Dead, they hired the Hells Angels. The reason they did is because the stage was only 39 inches high. It was really low to the ground, so they were really, right there, right in front of the crowd.
With 300,000 people in front of it.
Yeah,
That's a good thing to
all stoned,
point
right?
out. Yeah, 300,000 drugged up fans.
Yeah. So they hired the Hells Angels to guard the stage.
And then what happened?
Well, some chick pulls out a handgun.
Yeah, her name was Meredith Hunter.
A fan pulls out a handgun.
Just a teenager,
yeah,
too.
right near the stage.
Yeah.
And well, you could imagine the Hells Angels probably didn't take to that very kindly. So
No, they actually subdued her and ended up killing her.
yeah, she died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tragic.
But I mean, who
What,
pulls out a
what
gun?
was she thinking?
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
Okay, it's bad enough you're going to pull a gun out at a concert right next to the stage, but let's do it in front of the Hells Angels that are guarding the stage.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
I don't
I mean,
know
she
if the
was
Hells
probably-
Angels, did they have that reputation? I know they got it after that, but did they have that reputation as being dangerous?
Hell's Angels?
Yeah, I mean, back in '69, I don't know.
No, my gosh. They've always been a good bunch of guys. Just in case they're listening.
Yeah. Now, let's not go there. They're nice guys.
They're
Yeah,
fine.
okay, all right.
Speaking of the Stones, Keith Richards. How old? I think he died 30 years ago, and they just stuff him and they put him on stage.
I know, right?
He's preserved or something.
Actually, with 2020, has anyone checked on Keith lately? Is he okay?
Somebody, if you're listening, go check on Keith.
Somebody check Keith.
Just hold a mirror under his nose, see if anything's happening.
Nah, 2020 couldn't touch Keith.
Well, one of the things that Keith actually keeps saying that he's done is that he's once snorted the ashes of his deceased father.
Yeah, so.
Just saying.
Wow.
Yeah, ashes. I mean, let's leave that one alone. Yeah, speaking of ashes, the Guns N' Roses Metallica concert, there was almost a head full of ashes for one of the performers.
Yeah, well, James Hetfield, right?
Yeah.
The,
This is in Montreal, 1992.
yeah. He almost went up in flames. Yeah, one of the pyrotechnics went off. He went close to him.
He was standing on the stage where he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, and the pyrotechnic went off and lit him ablaze, his head.
Yeah, second and third degree burns, and he had to rush him to the hospital, and Metallica had to cancel the rest of their set. Now, Guns N' Roses was supposed to come on after them, and they were late. Not only were they late, but Axl Rose cited voice and audio problems and
I bet you that went over well.
and cut their set short. So not only did the crowd not see the rest of Metallica, they got a late and short version of Guns N' Roses.
So something tells me there was tear gas involved.
Yeah, the military had to be brought in for the riots that happened outside the concert with all the disgruntled fans, and they had to use tear gas to get it under control.
Do they have video of that, Metallica's?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because I've seen the one of like Gene Simmons. I guess he's said that he's set his hair ablaze about 6 or 7 times. The first time though, December 31st, 1973, is an old video on YouTube.
Wow, that's old, eh?
Yeah. And he was panicking, that's for sure, which I guess any normal person would.
So the first time he did it was when they were playing Firehouse, and the idea of the fire breathing came from Kiss's first manager. It wasn't Gene Simmons' idea; it was the first manager's idea. Yeah, crazy. He can breathe fire 15 feet, and he's rated in the top 5 fire breathers in the world.
Well, he's got a lot of practice.
No kidding.
Yeah. Now, talking about Kiss, and talking about crazy performers and crazy band members, the stories about Ace Frehley are legendary. What's that one about the perfume? What was that one?
Well, he once drank a whole bottle of perfume because Paul Stanley told him that there was alcohol in perfume. So Ace chugged the whole bottle.
Like he didn't have enough money to buy a bottle of booze.
It was right there. He figured, I guess they were short on cash. Who knows?
The best story I love about Ace Frehley is that him and Peter Criss, they're high.
Go figure.
You go figure. And they're playing in Sweden, and it's in between performances. And they're at this restaurant, and they're sitting there, and they're both high. And it's a kind of restaurant where there's a big pond in the middle, and the shrimp is a shrimp restaurant. All they serve was shrimp.
Shrimp boat.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So the chef is in the middle of this pond.
Oh, yeah.
You order your shrimp, whatever you do, and he puts it in a little boat, and you have a remote control at your table.
That sounds like fun.
And brings the boat and the shrimp that's loaded in there over to your table, and you pick it up.
Ah,
So Ace and Peter are sitting there, and Peter's almost comatose. And Ace looks over at the boats, and he looks at Peter Chris. He says, Peter, I'm going to fuck up those boats.
Why not?
And Peter looks at him and goes, do what you got to do, dude.
So what do you do?
So Ace stands up and screams. And he says, I'm Godzilla. And he jumps into the pond and starts picking up the boats and throwing them all over and just crashing around like he's Godzilla, beating up the little boats. And Peter Chris looks at him, looks forward, and passes out face first into his salad.
Rock and roll, baby.
I was just going to say roll, baby. Needless to say, they weren't asked to come back to that restaurant ever again.
Oh. Wow. Love kiss.
Oh, awesome. Man, I love that story. Yeah, so, food at Rockers, I mean, sometimes the food doesn't go that well. And the food on stage, good old Ozzy mistook...
Well, that wasn't food.
Food? No, but he took a bite out of it like it was.
What, the batsicle?
The batsicle, yeah. Now, he's saying he thought it was a fake bat. But...
It was a real bat.
It was a real bat, and he ended up biting the head off of it. And I guess he was too far into the bite and realized it was real and kept on going.
That made a big deal.
Oh,
that was huge.
Oh yeah, that was very controversial, as you can imagine.
well, and after the show, the manager and they said, "We got to take you for rabies shots, man." So he went for complete rabies treatment after biting the head off a bat.
He probably would have had gone for shots for a lot of other stuff he's done too.
I was going to say that's probably the last of his worries, biting
Really?
the head off a bat. But who would bring a bat to a concert?
Well, that's the other question.
Where'd the bat come from?
Exactly. Well, it could have been in the concert. I don't know if it was indoor or
It
outdoors.
was probably a prop. I mean, why would let's just grab this bat? But I mean, it had to be a prop of some
a
sort.
real dead bat.
I don't know.
Well, Ozzy's famous for a lot of stuff. And in 1984, when they're on this tour with Motley Crue,
Yeah.
it's reported that Ozzy was looking for something to snort and couldn't find any cocaine, so he snorted a line of live ants.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why not?
Any port in a storm.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a weird way to snort.
Well, we could probably
Anything.
do a whole show on Ozzy, to be
That's
honest.
true. Crazy Train.
Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, the lead guitarist, we all know who he is. He used to play pranks on Bill Ward, and he's
The drummer.
The drummer, yeah. So he used to put rubbing alcohol on him and then light it, and it would burn off quickly, just as a joke.
On his skin.
On his skin, yeah.
Right.
This one time, I mean, Iommi said this in his autobiography. He poured some alcohol on him and lit it, but because he poured it on his clothes as well, the clothes absorbed it, so it didn't burn off right away. Bill Ward started to panic, laid on the ground, was rolling around trying to put it out, and Tony Iommi thought he was just playing along with the joke and dumped almost a bucket more of alcohol on him, and the guy went up in flames.
Thanks for listening to this segment of the Inside Rock podcast, Rock Hurts. To hear the full episode, go to jabberguys.com and listen to our episodes with...
Queeks.
And Cha.
The
Jabberguys.
You'll find a link to a Spotify music playlist at the bottom of our show notes for music that we referenced in this podcast. Remember to go to our website, jabberguys.com, to subscribe to our podcasts, Inside Rock and Weird and Wacky Worlds.